Episode 101 of Pokémon Horizons just caused a pretty big drama in the community online, and all of that is thanks to Roy vs Nemona. This champion battle has folks arguing about power scaling, rating choices, and whether Pokémon Horizons has lost the plot. So if you're excited to hear all about it, then like and subscribe, and now let's dive into the review. The episode kicked off with a scene that I really loved. Roy begins learning how to fly the Brave Olivine airship by himself. That really felt like another step towards Roy becoming the new Friede, the new leader of the Horizon Volt Tacklers, and it made me happy. And then seeing all the Horizon Volt Tacklers together again was nice too, it kind of felt like home. I also enjoyed seeing their different perspectives on the path ahead. Uruto wants to beat up anyone in their way, but Molly and Orla don't think that violence is the answer, and then Liko just wants to focus on spreading the truth to the world. Hearing everybody's different inputs really makes them feel like their own individual people while still being part of the same family. I really appreciated it, man, and you just know that Friede would be so proud seeing them all like this. The next stop on their journey is the Naranja Academy in Paldea. Our heroes head there and they meet up with Geeta and Clavel and Jack, and they explain the truth to them about the Strong Spheres and the Laquium and Exceed, and of course everyone at the Academy trusts our heroes. They all want to investigate the matter further themselves. Dot also reunites with Penny showing Dot the locations of the Laquium signs popping up all over Paldea, and in Penny's dorm room we get our first ever Team Star reference in Pokémon Horizons. Team Star's logo. So that confirms the Team Star storyline happened in this universe too, and that adds even more fuel to the theory that Horizons takes place after the story of Scarlet and Violet. Personally, I never really cared too much for Team Star, but I still think it's really dope that the writers are acknowledging that part of the story, and I'm happy for the Team Star fans out there. We then get a fun moment of Roy reuniting with Nemona for the first time in a year, and man, I still love their friendship and rivalry just as much as I did back then. Nemona is so hyped that Roy is taller now and that he has a Mega Ring, and of course, Nemona being Nemona, she immediately wants to battle. That battle ends up being a double battle, Roy's Crocalor and Lucario versus Nemona's Pawmot and Rabombi. I have to admit, part of me does wish that Roy used Kilowattrel, because Kilowattrel never gets the time to shine, he's kind of the forgotten middle child. I would have loved to have seen Kilowattrel's dynamic with Lucario, but I do understand why the writers went with Crocalor. It ties back to all of the previous battles between Fuecoco and Nemona. Now let's talk about the importance of this battle, and also the reason why it's so controversial. This battle is Roy battling a champion-level trainer in a straight-up one-on-one. Sure, earlier in the series, Liko, Roy, and Dot beat Geeta in a 3v1, but Geeta wasn't using her strongest Pokemon, and it wasn't like a straight-up one-on-one battle, you know? So it's hard to state for sure whether that battle made Liko, Roy, and Dot champion-level trainers or not, even though they did beat Geeta. But this battle, Roy vs Nemona, this is totally different, dude. Nemona is canonically stronger than Geeta. Nemona's the strongest champion in the whole region, and the battle is a clean head-to-head one-on-one match using their strongest Pokemon, Roy vs Nemona. If Roy wins this battle against Nemona, there really isn't any way to argue against Roy being champion level now. It would make him champion level for sure. And I already know if that happens, it's gonna be crazy controversial, man. So the battle kicks off with Lucario and Pawmot clashing and dueling close combat versus Mach Punch, and they're pretty evenly matched. Then Rabombi uses Pollen Puff to heal Pawmot, and I've gotta say, as the biggest bug-type Pokemon fan in the world, I am loving Rabombi getting some serious spotlight here. It feels so rare that smaller, cuter Pokemon are part of high-level battles like this, so seeing it in this episode really did make my day. Although to be fair, my day was already made, because I got Squid Game Season 3 and Tamagotchi Plaza yesterday too. But anyway, we then got a really hilarious moment where Rabombi fired a Pollen Puff at Crocalor, and Crocalor, assuming that it would heal him like it healed Pawmot, he enthusiastically swallows the Pollen Puff, until the Pollen Puff then explodes inside him doing insane damage. Because, you know, Pollen Puff heals allies, but it hurts enemies. Our boy Crocalor really is always thinking with his stomach. You and me both, buddy. Rabombi then continued being the support MVP of the battle, blocking Lucario and Crocalor's attacks with Light Screen, and that gave Pawmot the time to use Focus Punch, doing huge damage. Then Rabombi followed up by trapping Roy's team with Sticky Web too, but Crocalor managed to break out with Flame Charge and smacked Pawmot hard. And then in maybe my favourite moment of the whole battle, Rabombi tried to use a healing Pollen Puff on Pawmot to heal it up, but Crocalor dove in the way enthusiastically and swallowed it to steal the heal. That really is the most in-character strat for Crocalor ever, man, it was so peak. The battle then reached its climax, with Roy Mega Evolving Lucario and Nemona terastallizing Pawmot. It's Mega versus Terra time, baby! Lucario and Pawmot begin going at it, clashing with everything they've got, and Roy and Nemona are more fired up than ever too, and Crocodile and Rabombi are having their own little battle on the side, but then Rabombi fires endless pollen puffs at Lucario trying to defeat him, and Crocodile just eats them, taking like no damage this time. I'm not sure if I misunderstood what happened here or if I'm just being dumb, but I have no idea why Crocodile didn't explode 100 times like what happened when it swallowed Pollen Puff earlier. Then the big final clash is Lucario's close combat versus Pawmot's focus punch. And honestly dude, this really had the exact same vibes as Ash's Lucario versus Cynthia's Garchomp. It had that similar level of intense, gritty, grounded fist fighting, you know? And it also ended like that battle too, with Lucario staying standing while his opponent falls unconscious. Honestly, I'm kinda shocked that Nemona's Pawmot went down after just a couple of hits, while Lucario was out here tanking super effective stab Terra boosted attacks. But hey, I guess that's just a Lucario thing now. Ashy Boy's Lucario was the same. Either way, it means Roy won the battle. Let that sink in for a second, dude. Roy beat Nemona. Roy isn't just a skilled trainer anymore, he's genuinely champion level now. You can debate it all you want, but the way the episode frames it is almost undeniable. This was a one-on-one, full-power battle between Roy and Nemona's strongest Pokemon, and Roy came out on top. That doesn't mean you have to love the result. Trust me, a lot of people are criticising it online, and I have some criticisms myself. But whether you like it or hate it, it is what happened. Our boy Roy is pretty much champion level. We'll talk a lot about that in a minute. So Roy and his Pokemon are so happy, celebrating, and Nemona is really impressed. But before the episode ends, we get a really unexpected moment. Penny challenges Dot to a battle using her Sylveon and Flareon. I didn't see that coming at all, man, but I love it. Then the episode ended with Konya and Zir still out in the ocean searching for a Metheo, using the Zygarde Cube. And I'm really happy the writers haven't forgotten about them. This scene being here gives me a lot of hope that we're going to see a Metheo sooner than we think. Personally, I have a feeling he probably saved Friede a year ago in Laqua, and now they're probably working together. That'd be so peak. So that was episode 101. First of all, I want to say that I really loved the early parts of the episode. I loved seeing Roy taking the lead of the Ryzen Volt Tacklers. I loved our heroes reuniting with everyone at the Naranja Academy. But the main point of discussion has got to be Roy versus Nemona, dude. First of all, I want to make it super clear that I'm not really the kind of guy who cries or stresses out over power scaling anymore. I think if a battle is well written, well executed, and serves the story, then it's okay for trainers you'd expect to be stronger to be defeated by weaker trainers. For example, I was fine with our heroes beating Geeta because it was written really well and it served the story well too. Plus, if I'm brutally honest, watching Pokemon Journeys for 3 years, that kind of destroyed any interest I had in power scaling. But this battle caused a lot of drama and debate and controversy in the community. A lot of people really didn't like it. From Nemona losing, to Roy now being champion level, to the battle rating itself. People were super angry and super disappointed. And I understand why, dude. Personally, I'm okay with Roy beating Nemona as a concept, but I just really didn't love the execution here. Nemona is the strongest trainer in Paldea, the true champion, but her battling in this episode just really didn't feel that special to me. I expected way better battle rating between the two of them, rather than what felt like a pretty surface level battle. I guess you could maybe rate it off and say it was just a friendly battle, not a proper official one, but still it did feel like they were giving it everything they had. Neither of them were holding back, and Nemona's Pawmot was defeated way easier than I expected it to, and that's a real shame considering it's like her main Pokemon. So overall, I didn't really love how Nemona was portrayed in this battle. She didn't feel as powerful as I think she should have felt. But to be truthful, the main issue that I had with this battle is something that has honestly been building up more and more over time for me. Roy's Lucario. Look, I was a big defender of Roy getting a shiny Mega Lucario when it was first revealed. A lot of people really hated it, calling it fanservice and forced. But I had faith that the writers would do something great to justify it, like giving it an awesome personality or amazing development or great backstory episodes. But we're getting real deep into this arc now, and still the writers have given us nothing of the sort. I find it really difficult to get hyped about a Pokemon who was caught off screen, trained off screen, developed off screen, pretty much everything happening off screen, and then suddenly being able to defeat the ace of the strongest champion in the region. I just don't think that's good writing, man. It feels completely unearned and unjustified. I want to love Roy's Lucario, but the writers just aren't doing enough to make me love it. And having it suddenly defeating champions after having no development, no screen time, no personality, no backstory, no on-screen training, I'm sorry, but that just doesn't work for me personally. I didn't like it with Ash's Pokemon and Pokemon Journeys, and I don't like it with Roy's Lucario either. You guys know I'm like the biggest Pokemon Horizons fan ever. I've been ride or die for this show since it began. I rarely have criticisms or issues, especially not with the writing. I love these writers, dude. But Roy's Lucario beating Nemona's Pawmot after a very surface level battle, that's a criticism that I do have. Regardless though, it was still a fun battle and it was a decent episode overall. Crocalor and Rabombi were definitely the best parts of the battle in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts on the episode below. Did you like the battle? Do you think I'm totally wrong about it? Also feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, that would really help me out a lot, dude. Feel free to join our Discord server and become a channel member using the links below, just like all of my other amazing channel members: Jay, Dowpals, Toten, Blazing Shots, Juscadia, Shiny Charm, Not Mini, Racco, Zach, Pokesan, Hope, the Duff One. And on that note, thank you all so much for watching, and best wishes until we meet again!